I am not the same person that I was when I started Attack on Titan.
Hi, I'm Ludo. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here or I keep popping up on your recommended, please make sure to subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And that's all. Okay, bye-bye. I'm gonna text my mom and dad right now.
I'm already really intimidated looking into your eyes. How can anime be for kids if there's lots of boobs in it? Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. Come on, guys. Guys, you know, that was good. That was
I think he's
good.
got me on that one. I don't think we want kids seeing boobs, right?
3, 2, 1.
What's your name?
Matt.
Max. Nice to meet you.
Hentai.
Okay, is hentai anime though? I feel like hentai's its own category. It's a subcategory. I feel like that's its own thing. Adult anime. I guess because they call the other stuff adult films. I just don't count. Like, if someone says they watch anime, the first thing, I don't think, oh, you watch hentai. I think, oh, you probably watch My Hero, or Dragon Ball, or Attack on Titan, or, you know?
Is hentai for kids? Is hentai for kids?
Is hentai anime?
Hentai is anime.
If you,
Hentai is
as an
anime.
anime fan, want hentai to represent your whole genre, then you be my guest. But
The question is it for kids?
They are, Andrew.
3, 2, 1.
all right, what's your name?
My name is Reed.
Hi, Pops.
Nice to meet you.
What do we call them?
I have to disagree with you. First of all, because a lot of anime are made at an intellectual level that is not for kids at all. Evangelion, for example, not for children in its themes.
Yeah, so it's difficult to define an entire genre as content that is just childish, right? And I'm not trying to make that argument with anime.
No,
I
I
think
don't
you can
think you
take
are.
content from anything that's not live action, that's stop motion, that's animated, and say there's some that's for kids and some that's not for
Candy
kids,
corn?
based on the content
I
itself.
don't like candy corn, but I'll eat one or
My
two when it
argument is
comes
less
around.
so about the storylines and the plots, and less so the way anime presents itself
So
as
more
media.
about the physical.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, he says anime's for kids, that's why it's bad. You know what else was for kids? K-pop Demon Hunters, and it was great. That was lovely. That was a 10 out of 10 film. So it's like, okay, Pokemon's for kids. Guess who also loves it? Everybody else. Like, just because something is, let's say it was made for kids. Okay, and adults like it. What's bad about it?
Like,
Well, right,
what you're
because
seeing.
my argument is that anime is very overly stimulating and appealing to the eye when you look at the way characters present themselves and the way the
Okay.
visuals are.
Don't
And I
tell
think that
Disney
something
for
like
real.
that's so stimulating is much more easy and catching to a child's brain. It's something that is there for a child to pay attention to and be stimulated by in a way that someone who's older as an adult can give more knowledge to an actual plot line might not care as much about. And for that reason, I think it's childish.
So you think that more of the visual, the color representation, and more like from the art base
Yes.
is what is causing it
Yes,
to be
because
childish?
adults
Okay.
don't need that. But
Okay.
but kids will get into that more so, and
Okay.
it'll keep them hooked.
I raise you on that. I raise you on that because there's also things, think of like, if you were to put a show on for a kid, they're more likely to enjoy like a Marvel movie than if you put on, say, just because it's right here, Evangelion, because a lot of shows are slow starters.
Don't acknowledge the fact.
Yeah. Nah, we're good. I'm listening to
The
you.
animation is there for a reason, but in not all aspects of it are there to present to children. Like, there are more, not like
got
sexualized art
Mosquito.
styles, but there are more mature art styles that aren't necessarily made to appeal
What
to
is
kids.
Evangelion? Though, is that a good anime? I haven't seen that one.
It's like the Junji Ito series that they did is very art based and not more on that kind of wave. Or there's like Project Ito's works are very more
glasses,
adult
they're cute.
themed and more adult like animated at like a higher level that's not made to appeal to children, or even shows that aren't done in a color grade that would even appeal to people with shorter attention
Of course, and I
spans.
think there are plenty of examples throughout the genre where you're going to
Mecha
find different
anime.
levels of artistic representation. But my
What's the
point is,
start
when
of
you look
this
at
video? Didn't
children's
care to
shows
finish it.
across
Wait, is
the
it
boards,
boring or bad?
oftentimes we're not looking at just plain old live action shows, right? There's something there, whether it's the outfits or the animations or the color, right? That is a very common trope we see
Again,
in kids.
People make the same arguments. Video games are for kids. Okay, then I enjoy something a kid does. Kill me. Like I don't understand what the issue is. If at the end of the day it's for kids, okay, I don't care. Blind boxes are for kids. You know how many blind box things I have sitting here? I mean, Kirby's for kids. I mean, like, you know, like I don't really care. Okay, it's for kids. So what? Sue me. At least I'm not doing hard drugs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the dude is just rage baiting.
Shows throughout media, and that is
That's what I
something
figured
that
it was
is
gonna be like
consistent
that, too.
throughout the entire genre of anime, which is why it's easier for kids.
It's an hour long. Oh,
All right,
GG.
thank you.
Thank you.
I like this type of video. Okay, brother.
Manny.
Manny? Max,
Yes.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Going to what I was hearing earlier about outfits. So a lot of the times, if it's not, of course, like clearly like weirdly like over-sexualized stuff that kind of comes up here and there with like really revealing.
Right, I think
outfits.
we can both agree that over-sexuality in anime is not for children at all. I'm not here to say that
Precisely.
that's for kids. Let's make that very clear, everyone.
Right, but certain exaggerated clothing, kind of like maybe like My Hero, like a bunch of crazy outfits to kind of show off their powers and stuff like that, right? Part of like a more mature side of what's going on in these shows. Not to say that that one is, but a good example to say that there are media that have like plain clothing styles and a more deeper hidden meaning behind these plots. I'd like to give the manga Goodnight Pun Pun a good example. Things like that, which is not made for children for sure. The
that's
reason
not
why it's not for
anime.
kids is because
manga.
that story kind of depicts many of these kind of. The reason why it's not for kids is because that story.
Why is there a biker in a maid outfit? Like he's got full on, like those are like full on racer boots. Like you would wear those on the track. Why isn't everyone wearing a bike helmet?
Kind of depicts many of these kind of
Oh, hey, I rock
ideologies in a
with
really
it,
like
bro.
bizarre way.
Hey, I rock with
More
it.
so kind of like internal trauma.
Hey, rock it, bro. You got the
like,
confidence, rock it.
a lot of profanity, violence, themes of assault, which of course should not be displayed in any way to a child. Its target audience not only being for adults, because it's not a book made for kids, clearly.
Sure.
Even when you go to a Barnes & Noble, you'll see
you're
it sealed
talking
up with
about
the
manga,
plastic
brother.
because
So,
there are things in it that you don't
Just
want
out of
to show kids.
curiosity, what do you think is more traumatizing and harmful to a
Pause.
child?
That's 10.
Okay.
Can we finish?
Okay.
I'm not here to argue that those are concepts that children should be exposed to a lot, or that are even for kids, right?
Right.
But what I will say is that anime as a genre is confined to its artistic expression, the way it's visually presented, right? And I guess I would ask you then, would you, if
I'm
you had to
distracted by
pick
this dude
your
back here
child
talking to
see
somebody.
a violent act being performed on someone, or whatever inappropriate thing it is, would you rather have your child see that from live action cinema or from an anime?
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Realize that way.
Huh? Does she have a raccoon tail?
I used to play basketball.
Max,
Misha.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yes, anime
Was that a
as
raccoon
depicted
tail?
in mainstream media is very childlike, but that's because the mainstream media, like the anime that is being shown to a lot of people,
I'm
is
confused
from,
why he's saying. What was his argument? Would you rather them watch it from what? That's why anime is for kids? I'm confused. What? Oh.
specifically the shonen or the shoujo aspect, the genres, which
I
are
love fruit
made
baskets!
for children. Sho means
Oh.
like smaller.
Sure.
Nen means like boy. Jo means girl. So smaller boy,
Oh.
like anime is meant for smaller, younger
Oh.
individuals, younger men or younger like girls, right? But also
I didn't
animation
know it was
in
made for
American
kids.
like
I
style
didn't know one of my favorite animes was a kid anime. That's good to know. Great.
are also having those sense of genres too. My Little Pony is made for like younger girls, and then we also have like what Clarence or like The Amazing World of Gumball.
Don't you no, don't you talk about My Amazing World Gumball. Okay, hold up. First of all, I'm gonna need you to stop. I watched Amazing World Gumball like 2 nights ago. Okay? That show's a banger. I may be 21, but that show is a banger and a half. I mean, peak humor. Peak. I never was a fan of My Little Pony, but my cousin, who's like 20 something, and a cop, he loves My Little Pony. And Clarence, I never watched Clarence, but it kind of looks like Chowder, and Chowder was great. So you can shut your little mouth. I'm not gonna lie.
For younger male individuals, audiences,
Right.
there are still topics that are being depicted in anime that are not made for children, which are not
in Western animes or
in Japanese animes too. But storylines across both, like across the world,
Sure.
can be not meant for children. So to say that anime is specifically meant for children
my back hurts.
or is for kids, I don't think is a very accurate nomination of anime as a art form.
Look, anime is about storytelling, and I wholeheartedly agree with you that anime as an art form can have deeper meanings that are not for kids within the literature, right? But I think you even agreed with yourself in there that anime as a medium of art
Can we have quiet on set?
can show children and expose children things in a way that's maybe easier and less inappropriate than it otherwise would be. I think we can all agree that
That means it's for
seeing
kids?
someone have their head cut off in a cartoon is much more childish or for children than having them have that happen in a live action film. And look, I'm not here to say that, look, anime can never express real meaning in a story that resonates with a
I would agree. Some anime is made for kids. I mean, like I said, Pokemon is a great example of an anime that was probably aimed at kids, but adults kind of took it over, or I guess the adults that grew up on it then took it over and was like, no, I still rock with this and love it. And there's a ton of other ones that like it. But there's some animes that a child should not watch. And I'm not even talking about hentai, I'm just talking straight up animes. I mean, like, it's not for kids. I don't care if it's anime. Literally, like, I wouldn't let a kid watch Chainsaw Man. I wouldn't let them watch Promised Neverland. I wouldn't let them watch stinking Berserk. I mean, there's some that I don't. It's 100% isn't made for kids. And if you think it is, you're kind of crazy. You're kind of crazy.
adults too, but the inherent nature of the art form is childish if we're going to be showing these overly stimulating images that maybe are easier for a child to engage with than an adult.
All right,
Would you
time's
agree with
up.
that?
That was it. That was 10 minutes.
I haven't seen Cowboy Bebop. I want to go. I feel like a kid could watch Demon Slayer. I feel like if a kid wasn't scared easily, they could watch Demon Slayer. Because I feel like if a kid's scared easily, it's probably gonna give them nightmares just because it's got scarier things, like for a kid. But I feel like Demon Slayer would be good. Like My Hero, Demon Slayer. I wouldn't let a kid watch Attack on Titan just because they're singing butt-naked people running around. Trying to think of some. I mean, obviously Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Naruto. But I feel like, yes, there's animes that kids can watch, but also there's some that they can't. Therefore, your argument that it's for kids is partially true but partially false. What? My goodness.
What's up, Max?
Good to see you, John.
Love you, bro. Guys, Max, great friend from high school. You know, love him, but his whole point is just inherently flawed. So your main point was that
want
if you were to
May
choose
to
what your
talk.
kid to watch for animation, getting beheaded, or live action, you choose animation, right?
Sure.
Well, that
It's
completely
not, I
doesn't-
don't want to say that's my main point, but it's a point.
I would say that was your main point, which it does kind of make sense. Of course, I'd want my kid to watch the animation rather than the live action, but I wouldn't show them either. So why is it just inherently more for kids if I'm watching the animation? That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense?
Well, the point I made is that something that is animated is less traumatizing to a child than it would be if it's live action.
Okay.
Which inherently makes it more childish, more for kids.
I highly
right?
disagree with you. If I showed my kid Berserk, would they not be traumatized from that?
I'm not
Does that make
familiar
sense?
with Berserk.
Well, exactly. Okay, well then maybe you should get more familiarized. Is that the right word? Get more familiar, dog. Because that doesn't make sense.
I don't make my time watching niche indie anime.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have better things to do with my time.
That's what I'm saying. Your point does not inherently make any sense. Of course, I do agree with you. Anime was maybe inherently made for kids, but that doesn't mean adults
Okay,
don't watch
to
anime.
describe Berserk to me, Gianni.
I don't want to, just for the sake of getting demonetized. I don't want to. And of course, as my great friend Matt brought up, the interesting niche of anime that begins with an H, that is also inherently not for kids. So while I do agree with you, anime in general maybe might be more catered towards children, as you were saying, like shonen, what we're saying it was made for kids. There's so much other.
That describes my argument, Gianni.
Okay,
right?
yeah, of course.
Of course. You go through kid TV shows, right? I mean, there's kid TV shows that are animated in America that are Western shows, right? But I don't think anyone's gonna go and say Family Guy is for kids, right?
No,
it's not.
Screw.
And it's the same thing applies to anime.
Okay.
But overall, as a genre, compared to live action media, and even the way the images are presented and the art is presented, it's more childish.
Okay, maybe you could say it's more childish. Doesn't mean
Also, I
it's
love
for
Anya
children.
up
And I
in
think
the
it's just an
corner.
immature view to have if you're saying people who love anime are watching a kids show. How does that make sense to you?
I don't think people who love anime are often watching kids shows, but I think if you're gonna make a show and you want to make it for kids, it's a hell of a lot easier to make it for kids if you're gonna make it animated versus live action.
Okay, I agree with that. But again, with my Berserk argument, does that make it?
I'm not
live
showing my
action?
kids Berserk if that's what you're trying to.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But I think
But I'm also not letting my kids watch like Stewie Griffin talk with Brian about all the things they say. Right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. But then you inherently agree with us that anime is not just made for kids. I think that's what we're all agreeing.
My argument is not that
it's not just
every
made for
single
kids.
anime is for kids. My argument is that the art style that anime presents itself in is more childish and therefore lends it to be more for kids than live action media.
Okay, well, I could come to an agreement with that statement. That sure, I think you changed up your argument a little bit though. That sure,
I think I
the
made
anime
it pretty clear from the beginning, Johnny. I think I made that pretty clear when I talked to her.
Bro, I was going, bro. I was going. All right, good. Hey, good. Dude, I was going crazy. Max, whenever you're ready.
Anime is over sexualized.
3, 2, 1.
He's got a point.
Just you this time. Also,
I'd go even further and say it's not only just over sexualized, but they often over sexualize minors. And it's a huge problem over in Japan. It's a very big problem over there, which is why a lot of the animes have it in it. So I would agree. Not only is it over sexualized, it also is a lot of over sexualization of minors, and it's really weird. It's really weird. Especially when they sell statues of said minors. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If I walked into someone's room and they had a sus statue, like, okay, if you had, like an Anya thing, a statue, or, the kids from My Hero or whatever, it's just like a normal looking cool statue, like, yeah, that's fine, you like the character. But if it's sus, if it's one of those statues, and it's a kid character, 911, what's your emergency? I got someone you gotta put on a list, okay? Because this ain't good. This ain't good. It's weird. It's weird.
you get to grab the mic.
Greetings.
Greetings. What's your name?
Cece.
Cece Max Caps. Nice
Nice to meet you. Okay, so
Not on it, no
the
longer
prompt is
allowing
that
stronger
anime is
stuff?
over-sexualized.
Yes, I think anime
That's
is
good. I like
over-sexualized.
that.
Yeah, can you
That's
explain
good.
that? Or just like a summary?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look across the genre of anime, not even including hentai, you see a lot of not only just animations that focus on the female body and the way it presents itself to engage viewers, but also a frightening amount of over-sexualization of children, which I think is problematic for the genre overall.
I do agree with the children aspect of it. I think sexualization in children is just wrong. I don't think necessarily that like sexualization in anime is particularly bad if it's tasteful. Like JJK, like I feel like they kind of appeal to the female gaze a little bit. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is not really sexual.
Okay, just because it appeases to the female gaze doesn't mean it's still not. You can over-sexualize a male body. Chat, did you know you can't over-sexualize a... Chat, did you know that as men you can't be over-sexualized? Hey, the more you know, chat. Did you know as men you can't be over-sexualized? Congratulations. Congratulations. You know how they say that women's rights, like, we don't have the same rights as you guys? It's because we have the right to be over-sexualized and y'all don't. Congratulations. Like, what? So it's tasteful when it's men, but it's over-sexualization when it's women? I'm sorry. I think it's over-sexualized with both. You, what? I think if you like it doesn't mean it's sexualizing the... Yeah, I think she's saying, like, she liked it, so it was over-sexualization. But when she doesn't like it... Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Hey. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey. She said it's tasteful. When it's a boy, it's tasteful. It's tasteful.
At all. Psychopaths,
Goofy.
not really sexualized at all. Attack on Titan, there might be like little bits of it for the female gaze, but and these are all
Brother, they got Levi in a maid suit. What you mean little bit? What you mean little bit? They got Levi all up in a maid suit. What you mean little bit? Girl, you can't be playing like that. Come on now, let's just be honest. Come on, if we're gonna be honest, let's just be honest. Come on now. Also, she's saying a little bit for women. Does she not realize there's also gay women? Like, that also like to look at the women? Like, she's like, okay, it's a little bit for women. Because there's some male tastefulness. Brother. She lost
mainstream
me.
animes. I just think it's like a
she's very carefully leaving out One Piece. She's very carefully leaving out what they did to Nezuko, a minor. She's very carefully leaving out some certain popular animes that I don't think you can leave out of this argument. It's not like they're niche animes where it's like, well, yeah, if you go looking for it. Brother, one of the largest animes, One Piece. You ain't gotta look pretty far. Our society pretends it's okay when it's guys. YouTuber I watched pointed out how weird it was in Spider-Man Far From Home when they play up a joke of Peter being asked to undress by an adult woman. He was like, let's replace the woman with Nick Fury and Peter with MJ. Pretty messed up, right? Yeah, it's, yeah. I agree with you there. You ain't got no arguments with me from there. You ain't got no arguments. I think if we're gonna, you know, talk about how we need to get rid of over-sexualization, you have to also acknowledge there is over-sexualization of men too. Like, you can't say, oh no, that doesn't exist because we've had it worse. Okay, just because you've had it worse doesn't mean... Again, if someone's drowning in 5-foot water, first of all, stand up. And someone's drowning in 20-foot water, you're both drowning. It's both an issue. Just because someone's drowning in deeper water doesn't mean you're both drowning, you know? Or not both drowning. So you gotta help each other out, you know? Chat, tonight marks a night in history. I am acknowledging and saying men can be sexualized. You're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, you can thank me later. You're welcome. You're welcome. Tonight, I mark a time in history. Men can be sexualized. I will say it. You're welcome. Tonight is a night of history. You're welcome. That's why I watch Cory in the House, my favorite. This man hater admitted it. Oh, that's right. I hate men. That's right. Never mind. Screw y'all. That's right. Screw y'all. In fact, men don't exist. In fact, who am I talking to right now? The voices? Oh no, the voices are back. Oh no! Oh no! Oh man.
Perspective thing. Like you
Hi,
like,
Alex.
turn your perspective into like animes that aren't doing that. There
Okay,
are
just because
anime-
you turn a blind eye doesn't mean it's not happening, brother. Sorry.
It's like High School DxD, but then like that's the point of the anime. There are like animes where
Just because of the moment! Sorry, I should know. Just because it's the point of the anime does not take away the fact that it's being over-sexualized. I'm sorry. Huh? This girl has lost me in every shape and form. Every shape and form, she's lost me in an argument. I think some men and or women don't mind if they're sexualized as messed up. I agree. Hey, you got me there too. I agree with you. I think some men and women would not care if they're sexualized. But I think we shouldn't. I don't think we should popularize it and make it a common thing, because then people who don't want to be sexualized are then sexualized, like me. The amount of vulgar comments that I receive is insane. And I think it's okay. Because, well, there's other girls that want to be sexualized, so wouldn't you want to be sexualized? What other people do with their life is up to them. I don't want to control them. I'm not going to try to control them. They can do what they want at the end of the day. But I don't think it should be the common theme. I think it should be a consent thing. May I over-sexualize you? What in the world have we come to in this society? I quit. I'm going to play League of Legends. Second I get on, you say guys don't exist. I love you so much. Dude, oh man. Yeah, my best friend's a dude, but I'm a man hater. They got me. I always panic when I feel pretty because I'm afraid what's going to come to. 1000% you hit it a nail on the head. I get afraid to dress up or do certain cosplays, and I feel like I look pretty. And I'm like, when you feel like you look good, and if doing content's your job, don't you think you'd be like, oh, I want to take a video. I feel like I look pretty. But then I get scared that it's not going to come off of just, oh, it's a cute cosplay, or, oh, it's a cute video. It's going to come off as, she obviously wants to be sexualized because she took a video of herself. And I just wish it wasn't a common thing, so that people didn't just think everyone wanted to hear that. Because some people don't want to hear that. And when they think everyone wants to hear that, then they think, oh, well, then I can just say it whenever I want. And it's like, no. I don't want you thinking about me like that, because that is weird, okay? That is weird. So, I was teenager, moms would always hit on me and make it uncomfortable comments because I thought I looked like Jacob from Twilight. That's the other thing, is that it is so weird. I've seen it so much now because I, like, saw a tweet or something about it, and I was like, wait, that's true. And now I, like, when I see it, I see, like, you know, if you say, oh, a red car, you're gonna start seeing red cars. The amount of shirts that are, like, woman magnet, or like ladies man, or for girls, like, you know, stay away, my dad has a shotgun, when they're a toddler. It's really concerning. It's like, why do we have shirts like that for toddlers? Like, I know it's people like, oh, haha, it's a funny joke, but it's like, no, you have a toddler. You shouldn't be thinking of anything in that sort. So their shirt should say, I'm a giraffe, or something, you know? I got trauma from men, so yeah, it's, I mean, you don't have to be a content creator to receive those things. I know. I 100% understand and know that you don't even need, you can literally post a singular photo, have 0 followers, any of that, and you'll probably get a message or a DM. It's just people. Hey, if they have one thing, it's the audacity. What does the fox say, literally? So that, yeah, I think it is over-sexualized. I think it should, you know, I think, honestly, at the end of the day, do I agree and think hentai is good? No. But we also have freedom to do what we want. So if you want to have that, it should have its own category, you know? So that if you want to go watch that, go watch that over there. Go watch that over there in your little corner, okay? and then that way the other stuff doesn't have that in it. That way we can have anime that's just, you know, fighting and cool powers and all that stuff. Oh, thank you, Alex.
Like the genre is like, I'm gonna bounce my titties and shake my booty, you know what I mean? But like,
okay.
That's like,
Does that happen in mainstream storytelling though? I don't
but
think
it
that
doesn't
happens.
happen necessarily in like mainstream anime. Like I don't think like in Attack on Titan, like My Hero Academia.
In One Piece, it does, brother. And that's, is One Piece mainstream? Am I tweaking? Am I tweaking right now? Is One Piece not mainstream? Is it not like one of the most mainstream animes out there? And it's also one of the most sexualized animes? Yes? Okay. And it literally, Nami is a known sexualized character.
Like they're not like bouncing their titties, like.
I agree, Andrew. In my world, it wouldn't be a thing. But at the end of the day, God gave us free will, and I'm not gonna tell God, no, I'm God. I'm gonna make everyone do what I want, because that's, if that were true, everyone would play League of Legends, and I don't think we need that in this world. So like, yeah, I understand. Like, I would get rid of it, but also we do have free will. So if people are gonna do it, they're gonna do it.
Attack on Titan, like,
Look,
a lot of like
Mainstream, just nobody has the time to start. True. Nami is definitely over-sexualized. Okay, thank you. She's just leaving it out because she knows it would defeat her argument.
But there's nothing wrong with that if it's tasteful. I think if like someone is dying and all of a sudden she's like bouncing her titties and stuff like that, that's like distasteful. But if it's like, you know, like there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as it's tasteful and it's for adults and it's not.
I'm not playing League in this world.
All right, flags.
Wait, everyone got scared when I like started to mention like ass shaking.
you made some good points, but I guess not everyone else thinks that. So goodbye.
Yeah, because you left out One Piece, which is one of the most sexual.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, dude, she literally named animes that didn't have it and left out some of the biggest ones that do have it. That's not how a debate works. You don't just get to not state all of the facts. You can't just leave out parts of the things that would discredit your argument.
Hello!
You got a mic? You're mic'd up?
Oh boy, yeah, I'm mic'd up.
All right. Well,
So, I actually...
ready? Max, by the way.
We don't need to do the handshakes. All right. So, look. I actually think
I need motorcycle
anime
person to come up.
is under-sexualized. But you want to know why? Wait, no, let me finish. Put your hand up, put the hand up.
Oh.
Let me go.
That's my thing.
Okay, I will. My one point, okay, is look, like Cece said, you know, there's you can sexualize both sides, right? Boom, whatever.
Yeah.
But since like 2005, there's this genre, right? It's called the ecchi genre, which means
I don't even know what that is.
Guys, please. I didn't even get to argue with Nami. Give me a chance.
I don't know what that
In
is.
3, 2.
hold on. Let me like fix this. All right, Matt. Good to see you again.
Again?
All right. You got a mic?
I disagree because I think out of everyone here, I have a pretty Western view of anime. I watch dub.
What is Western view of anime mean?
I watch dub. I'm new to anime, right? I will say, Hollywood is very over-sexualized.
Wasn't he
I remember
throwing
when
out
I was a
Western
kid watching
anime, so he
Transformers,
doesn't even know
seeing
what Western
Megan
anime means,
Fox
he's just
lift
throwing
up
it
that
out there.
hood. Yeah, you know, that was pretty sexualized for me, and I was young, right?
Is that good or bad?
Okay, gotcha.
That's, if we're talking about over-sexualized, that's bad, right? So I can say Hollywood is just as over-sexualized as anime, you know? Like Black Widow, she wears her tight suit.
That doesn't,
pretty-
okay, just because the other stuff is over-sexualized doesn't mean that this isn't, what? We don't just say, you know what? It's all over-sexualized. Let's just make that our new norm. No, we go, hey, we should probably hit the brake pedals for a second. Let's back it up. We went a little crazy. Let's back it up, okay? We went a little crazy. Let's just back it up a little bit. Okay? We don't go, you know what? This is the new norm. This is it. Let's do it. Like, for example, video games used to be very over-sexualized. I mean, you go back to the old Mortal Kombats, and you gonna see some tatas, brother. Hey, you do one wrong combo, and you just gonna see it all. But, as time went on, and topics were brought up of, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. It was changed. And now in the newer Mortal Kombats, their skins, there are still some where it's, a little schmexy. But there's some where they're completely just normal looking. They just look like they're, coming to fight you. And, I think that's great. I think putting the brake pedals on it, going, well, okay, maybe we should, give them at least, like, a crop top instead of just a little piece of material. But I think we should continue maybe doing that. And it's getting better in games where it's not as over-sexualized because not everybody wants that. There are people that want that, and there is a demographic that wants that. That's why you make games for those people. You don't have to put that in every video game because then the people that don't want that don't have any video game to play. I've never watched anime, but when I joined the Comic-Con world, my first impression of all the anime stuff I saw around was, wow, this stuff is sexualized. I'm gonna see. Yeah, it's not all sexualized. I'm 100% honest. It's not all sexualized. There are a lot of amazing animes out there that you don't even have to be like, oh, well, I'm gonna skip this episode. It's great. Anime's also sexualized, and there's a lot of fan service. But yeah, there's some out there that it's great. I mean, Fruit Baskets is amazing. It's about a girl and humans that turn into animals, and it's great. It's really cute. It's one of my favorites. Hamotu is literally a girl that comes home, turns into a hamster, and then plays video games all day. So, label the games adult 18+, yeah. I don't see how that would make you not want to play a good game, though. I don't think it... Okay, so, for example, I don't remember what the MMO was called. It wasn't Black Desert. It was a different one. But, for example, as a girl going into it, I was so excited. The more armor I put on my woman character, the more butt naked she got. I mean, I would upgrade my armor and upgrade my armor and upgrade my armor, and then she would just naked and naked and naked. But when the dudes kept upgrading their armors, they got full-on cool suits and everything. It's one of those things where it's like, well, this is stupid. I don't want to run around half naked. And, this is just, completely stupid. I'm just gonna go be a dude character then. But the girl characters are cool, but it's but that game, 100% props to them. The community came and said, yo, that's kind of crazy. That's one thing to have schmexy outfits. It's another to practically make them naked the more you upgrade their armor. And the game, I don't remember the game name. I don't play it anymore. But they came out and they fixed it. They said, you know what? We hear you. We're going to change it. And they did. They added it to where the more you upgraded your armor, she got cool armor. She got cool looking armor. So I think that's just one of those where it's it's not going to, make you go, oh, at least for me personally, I'm not going to go, oh my word, I'm never ever going to play this game because, I mean, League of Legends is a perfect example. There are some degenerate skins in that game. It's one of my favorite games. There's some degenerate skins. Do I not play the game? No. I just don't buy those skins. I don't play those skins. It's for a certain crowd. It's not for me. But I just think it's good for games to also have characters and skins for the people that don't want that. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that a game shouldn't just, old Mortal Kombat, there were no women you could play where they were covered. There was no women. And now, in the newer Mortal Kombats, you can still get some skins where it's, schmexy, but you can also get skins that aren't. And, so I think that's, for me personally, that's just what I think it'd be nice, so that if you don't want to hop on and play, and look at that, you don't have to. We're fixing it. Now men get more naked! That's great, bro. Cyberpunk not says 18+, that's crazy. That's crazy. Cyberpunk was one of those games where I logged on, I didn't know there was a blur feature, and I just got straight tatas, and I said, wowzers. Okay. I just wanted to, drive a little motorcycle around and fight people, but I guess I'm looking at tatas tonight. Why are we fighting games leaving any character with exposed skin? I'm going to war against swords. I would make sure. Yeah, that's the thing that's funny. It's if you're going into war, you would be as covered as possible. You wouldn't have no, chainmail bra. You'd have full-on armor. You would be as covered as possible. But, again, I understand why they don't, because it wouldn't sell as well, but... And money is money to them. Yeah, I think it's just either make it to where you don't have to play that one game that they updated it. They said, all right, we hear you. We're gonna calm down a bit. Or if you're gonna make a game like that, say, hey, this is what the game is, and then sell it as that game, and then it's, you know, kind of like hentai, where if you want to go watch that, go watch hentai. There's a woman who rates women's battle armor on YouTube. That's sick. Wait, do you have her link? That'd be great.
Sexualized to me.
Yeah, I think the difference is with anime, you have an entire fan base where the idea of pedophilia is a bit more ambiguous than it can be in any other kind of genre, right? That is a norm within the anime community that I've observed, and I think that's problematic, and that's why I would argue that anime is over-sexualized.
I think he cooked me.
All right, the flags are up.
All right.
Ivan, nice to meet you.
Max.
So, I want to start by asking, do you think that the things you were just describing, is that more common in anime than other sources of media, like television or movies?
You know, I think that's a fair point, and there's plenty of sexualization. Even if you look at shows in Hollywood that have sexualized children, right? That's bad.
Right.
The problem is the ambiguity. The problem is with drawings and cartoons, it's a little bit more normalized and acceptable socially to see a drawing of someone who's a 10-year-old and be attracted to that, unless it's compared to it being a kid in an actual show that's live action, right? That's problematic to me because
I
it
will
still
say I
allows
have seen a lot of cons, a lot of drawings of underage kids in very lewd outfits from animes. And it's like, that is a minor in the show, and they don't grow up in the show. That is still a minor. Because I see some people that try to make the argument, like, oh, well, technically they grow up. Like, this is them if they were grown up. I've seen straight kids in lewd clothing that stay kids, are still kids throughout the show, never change, are always a kid.
people to practice those mind behaviors when they shouldn't be doing that.
Right, and my point goes into, you look at a show like Euphoria or Riverdale, shows that are clearly also sexualizing, you know, people who are explicitly depicted to be underage. And that is also considered a very mainstream show in Western audiences. Now,
Well, that's not
would you
good
say that
either.
those shows also represent the entire media of television
Oh, I
as a
see what he's
whole?
saying. I see what he's
Because
saying.
if we're using the singular individual examples from anime to represent the entire genre, then you should be able to do the same thing for a show like Euphoria or Riverdale, who are clearly showing these children, these
I've never seen
teenagers
either,
who
but
are
I've heard.
depicted to be in their teens, doing drugs, you know, having relations that are more than friendly. So I think that if you're looking at it as the genre of anime shows this more than others, I think the same should be shown for movies and for television, as my main point.
No, it's a fair point. I would just argue that you're wrong by saying that the shows like Euphoria are just as much of a minority in Western media as shows that are more problematic with sexualization as they are in anime. I think they're much more prevalent. From my experience with anime, obviously I have my biases, but I stand firm in my belief that anime is more sexualized to that extent than Western media.
Gotcha, and I'll respect your personal perspective on that. But as a whole, I do believe that if we're using the individual examples that we have personally experienced, because I haven't personally watched that many animes that over-sexualize the characters. I tend to avoid shows like that in general. So does that mean that because I don't see them, that the genre doesn't have those as an issue? I watch shows like, you know, Dragon Ball, like One Piece, shows that they might have it in there, but not to the same extent as other shows. Does that mean that my personal experience is going to
One
dictate
Piece
the entire
definitely has
genre?
it in it. I've never even seen. I haven't watched One Piece, but I've seen clips. Brother, Nami is crazy in that show. I can't lie.
It shouldn't. And you know what? I think voices like you are important. More people like you should represent the anime community because you're right. It's important to understand that it's the minority. But to people like me in America who understand anime not from watching a ton of series,
I don't know,
but
Mara. I'm not sure what
seeing
stage
clips
she is.
online and seeing the videos these motherfuckers make, then yeah, you know?
I feel you.
Right? But that's my point. Is that 10 or we switch it? Yeah.
So, 10 flags. No. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
She's over 18. Okay, so she's over 18.
I just think it's crazy saying that One Piece isn't sexualized. When I'm like, all I see of Nami is crazy edits of her.
Hi, Max.
You can
Nice to
like
meet
One Piece. You can like One Piece and be like, I don't like those parts. But just saying that One Piece is isn't that. It's just crazy.
I'm Ray.
Right?
I don't think necessarily anime is over-sexualized. I think particularly like the Japanese
I
culture
tried
is
it into One Piece, I
over-sexualized.
What does that mean?
What'd she say?
Particularly like the Japanese culture is over-sexualized.
What does that mean?
So I was just in Tokyo. Everything in
tattoos.
Japan, I would say that they lean more towards sexualizing these types of stuff more than like other cultures. It's not necessarily the anime. I would say it's more than what it came from.
But isn't anime as a medium of Japanese culture
It'd be
by
way too- oh,
extension
really? I didn't know that.
over-sexualized if Japanese culture
Might
is?
try that then.
That is true, but you could say that about other cultures as well. You could say that about like Western culture, about how
So her argument is that
Westerners
it's
tend to, let's see, idolize
fault?
like, you know, women with big boobs. They show that a lot in like live action.
I
And
see it a
stuff.
lot in anime too.
You see that a lot in anime too, but again, it's something that the Japanese tend to like more than
So it's okay when Japan does it because they like the titties more than we do.
that's also not what I'm saying.
All right, so I was being a bit of an ass there, but we'll talk more.
No, that's okay.
Good to meet you.
What is this? It's one anime hater versus 20 anime fans, but like, I feel like it's kind of rage bait. Everything's rage bait. I thought it'd be
Next
interesting
topic.
to watch.
The anime community ruins anime.
It depends what community you're in. What's your flying It depends what community you're in.
Can I have you explain why is it toxic?
Yeah. When you look at the way fans interact with the media itself, there's a lot of gatekeeping and there's a lot of unnecessary ranking systems that I think lead to exclusion and resentment rather than just overall acceptance within the community. For example, I have often seen anime fans say, oh, if you haven't watched this anime or this specific niche indie anime, then you're not a real fan. And I think
goes
that
for
mindset
everything. Yeah, that
is
goes for every
problematic
community.
and
There's gonna be
leads to the community
dookie
being
heads in every
toxic.
single one.
Toxic.
Okay, don't you think that's also very common in other forms of media? Such as like music. I feel like it was very common with music though, with a thing where it's like,
Yep.
oh, if you haven't
Name
listened
five-
to this
5
artist,
songs.
you're not a real fan. Name 3 songs
Yeah,
of like
I mean, I think
Nirvana.
there's plenty of like musicians who you can say their fan base is toxic.
But
right?
it's not just musicians in the end. It's also just like
Just
TV
people.
shows.
I
People
don't
are just
think the
toxic.
whole like. I don't think there's a whole. Let's put it this way. You could say that some musicians have a toxic fan base. You could say that some TV shows have a toxic fan base. Then you could say that about like Rick and Morty, for example, right? But my point is though, anime, like I don't think anyone's coming out and
Who's the
saying
leader for
that
Luda's
fans
toxic
of
fan?
music
No.
or fans of television overall are toxic. But I think you could make that argument much stronger about anime when you look at its fan base.
Isn't it the same way like you
Yeah,
just
I
said
agree.
like some there's like
Yeah,
some
there's
anime fans
toxicity
that's
everywhere.
Toxicity. Yeah, there's
but
toxicity.
there's a higher presence of it in anime based on the way fans talk about
Is
it.
there?
I think that's more of a loud minority rather than
Yeah.
a majority of fans. Because
Yeah.
I've been to multiple conventions myself. I've met people. I feel like most people I've met that are big fans of anime, just like anime, they don't like really properly
Weird
gatekeep
animes
it.
that came
You're
up
just
with this
talking about
argument,
like a very
literally.
loud minority.
Bro googled most sus animes, went, I hate this. Next. Cause yeah, if you join the wrong community and everyone's a bunch of dookie heads and saying, well, you're not actually a fan, you could say it ruined the anime for you. You could say that about everything else. Just if you're in a community that's being weird, leave that certain Discord or Twitter group or whatever it is and join a different one. There's 5,000 of them.
Where it's like, they're just like weird. I agree that there's weird people.
Problem
there.
is when it
There's weird
comes to
people everywhere.
content creation, these content creators and these influencers have an outside voice compared to other genres as a whole. And if you want your fandom, anime, to stop being perceived as such, then more people need to create content that doesn't perceive that message or spread it.
Okay, I
They
get where you're coming
do,
from.
you just
Actually,
haven't
the
seen
anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe you shouldn't get a girlfriend.
Yeah, I should. You're right. I'm not.
Why do you say that?
3, 2, 1.
Why do you say that?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man. Max is one of my good high school friends. So
That's
we
my
know
best
each other
friend
very
right
well.
here.
So your argument is that gatekeeping is the toxic part.
Yeah, I think gatekeeping is a trait and a behavior you see
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
agree.
people in
Well, I don't
communities
know
that are
why he
toxic.
said
Yes.
that.
Yes, of course. So I actually don't think that in itself makes anime or the community toxic,
Why?
right? Because I think the majority of the community is actually accepting of other people and bringing them into the topic of anime.
Do you think these guys are accepting?
I think they're. I actually would argue that they are accepting.
They seem cool.
In fact, the AnimeMen specifically
Yeah, like saying that
make
really
videos about
yeah.
anime
These are fun,
that have
baby.
like, sure, very
I don't actually watch it,
specific
just seen bits and pieces. Yeah, I feel like it's only seen like TikTok
jokes
clips.
and things that tailor to that audience. But I think that they aren't gatekeeping, if that makes sense. And in fact, they actually expand their audience by like making music videos to popular songs and such, which I think actually creates an environment where they're actually being more inviting than they are.
See, I think you're wrong. You're talking about maybe a community of creators here that have done a great job, but
Yeah.
I think so often you go into spaces where people really engage with the content, and you find someone that they're just gonna say, oh, well, this character in this season is this amount of powerful, and this person in this episode, oh, who would beat who in this dynamic, and it's like all this like back and forth and arguing.
That's
and, like,
that's called talking. That's called conversation. You know how many times when we got from like a Marvel movie, my dad's like, okay, do you think Hulk could be this character? Okay, do you think Batman could be this character? We're not arguing, we're just that's conversation. That's just fun conversation. A lot of times I'm like, do you think Goku could be XYZ? Do you think this? It's like, that's just fun conversation. That's not arguing. This is like when if you grew up with siblings, when you and your sibling would actually just be having a conversation, your parents are like, stop arguing! And it's like, wait, we actually weren't arguing for the first time. Like, we actually were just having a conversation. We weren't arguing, and now you just kind of ruined the vibe, bro.
twisting their nutsacks around, and it's like, come on now, like that's not what this is about.
He's one of us
like
who
it's
doesn't
fun,
like
but you can't get so upset about arguing the semantics of the topic if you want it to be fun. And I see that too often when
for fun.
I've seen anime being perceived outside. And let's also make this clear. I am perceiving all these arguments as someone who is not a part of the anime community.
Of course.
And that's important when you're talking about a genre making its way into being more mainstream.
Yeah.
Right? You can have your spaces in the community that work, but if people outside aren't seeing it as such, which I think it's fair to say there's a substantial amount of people who share my feelings outside of the anime community, then what's the
Do you
point?
think anime is mainstream?
No, it's a great argument.
Like, just in general, do you think it's mainstream
Still,
now?
the outside take doesn't define what a community is as its whole, right? That's just a perspective that maybe you have, and I'm sure other people
Once I
have
loved
too.
when he had to pretend
But
he
being in the actual community itself, it's not that toxic, right? And I believe this because, sure,
think
there
it's
are
pretty
people that have these
mainstream.
debates. Most of them are actually just funny, friendly banter, right? I would say that
agree.
there's maybe the 1%, like it's like a little too heated, right? But I think that's like a reflection on themselves, like individually, and it doesn't like affect the entire community, if that makes sense. It's only a very small minority. So the community itself is not toxic. That would be my debate.
I would disagree.
This dude needs to load up
But,
League of Legends
yeah,
if he wants
I
to be
think that's
toxic.
I have no more on this topic.
Yeah.
So we know if he needs to be gay code.
If anyone else would like to debate this, please go to the table in 3, 2, 1.
I don't like the whole running. Oh, I hate that.
All right, I'm gonna leave you there. Hello.
Oh, your guys' shoelaces tied together.
Yeah. So you think the anime community is what ruins anime? Honestly, I think the anime community makes anime better.
Oh,
Look at where anime was.
this Jubilee?
10 years
No, it's something like
I
that.
don't know
though.
where was
People
it
were
10 years
people were
ago?
made fun of
There was
for
no
liking
community
anime.
10 years ago.
People were made fun of for liking anime.
Good.
They get mad toxic and power scaling.
Who were bullied, but
really?
now
Like, as bad
It
as
is
League?
so more welcome than it was 10 years ago because of the community. Look at all the expos and conventions
Yeah.
where all these
I
fans
wanna
come
go so
together,
bad to that.
right? Well, no, what do you mean? Okay, no, you guys agree. You guys agree. You guys all agree. You too. Because like, think about it. Think about it, Matt. So basically, the anime community is what brings anime more open, right? Look at all the Crunchyroll awards or all these award shows. All these big celebrities are
know, I
coming
hope they wear deodorant
out into
there.
the open of their love for anime because of what the community brings. It's not like Star Wars. Because you look at communities in Western media, they are way more toxic than the humanity community.
How are they toxic?
You want to know how they're toxic? I reacted to a Star Wars AI thing, and the amount of people literally so mad in the comments at me because I didn't know things about Star Wars because I've only seen 2. The amount of hatred I got in those comments, they're like, she doesn't actually know about Star Wars. She's a fake fan. Oh my word, she should die because she didn't know that this character was actually this character. Like, oh my word. Yes, it is a toxic community, bro. Yes, it is.
Do I even need to go into that?
Yeah, what? How is a Star Wars fan more toxic?
You're toxic.
I'm toxic.
You're toxic. You're toxic.
See,
He's like, well, actually, I read a comic from 1962. Yes.
You're insulting me.
Actually, my father was Darth Vader.
Your tie's uneven. Fix your tie. You know, I will. Let's go, Matt. No.
Walk away. Go.
Cosplaying is weird.
No! I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch this one anymore. I don't want to watch this one anymore. Oh. I think, not that I am a cosplayer, but I think that if someone were to be a cosplayer, that we should just let them dress up and have fun. But not that I am, but if I were to be one, I think it would be fine, to, you know, let them have fun, dress up, and maybe they feel, you know, more confident in their own skin when they get to be a character, because maybe they were made fun of their whole life, and when they get to dress up, it makes them feel more powerful and cool, and they get to relate to the character that they're cosplaying as, and maybe, just maybe, it helps them get out of their shell! But not that I would know. I'm just speaking, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, you know? Like, I'm trying to think, like, if I were to be, you know, a cosplayer, you know?
Right, if you would like to go up.
Oh, he's cosplaying!
Treat, nice to meet you.
Max.
So I disagree with that, and I would like to ask, what make it weird for you?
Yeah, well, I'll just say this: there's nothing wrong with cosplaying. I think if someone like finds enjoyment out of doing cosplaying, then they should do it. But I don't think anyone would say it's normal or like a thing that's not weird, right? Define weird as something that's not normal and maybe a little bit strange way to behave. And I don't think anyone would argue or find it accurate that cosplaying isn't weird.
I can see that. So, okay. From your perspective, it's
shaking
usually
so
reinforced
bad.
from
Like
stereotyping.
that. They're
That's
so
usually
nerdy.
make your brain lump down everything, just kind of break it down over a individuality of how someone can be very complex as a person.
They
We
seem
want
very nerdy.
to express yourself. What's considered weird to you because it is out of your social norm? Something can be yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Especially in America, there's a lot of diverse culture in here, so you get to see a lot of perspective. Like like for cosplayer, there's in Asia, Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean, Japanese. We all, like it's not just essentially just a hobby. It's also like a way for us to express ourselves. There's a bunch of holiday that you can
How do
dress
you
up.
express yourself though by pretending that you're someone that you're not? That I don't understand. Explain that to me.
Okay, you're not technically pretending as someone else. You're showing your love for the
Okay. Okay, people express themselves with tattoos. People express them with hair color. Technically, it's not actually theirs. Their hair color isn't actually pink. They're not born with tattoos. You express yourself in so many different ways. What? That's what expressing yourself is. It's finding what you enjoy, finding what you love, and just full sending it and doing it. What do you mean? That's what expressing yourself is. It's finding what you like and just full sending it and being like, this is who I am. Take it or leave it.
the character. And a way to do it is, for cosplaying, saying that is also a little bit like vague. It's oversimplifying a lot of like point as well.
And what's the difference between dressing up in a costume and cosplaying?
For that point, it's the same because in America, Halloween.
My
you don't
girlfriend
have to
wasn't
wear a
born with
costume.
pink
It's
hair.
just a
I'm
Western
sorry
way
to
of
tell
saying
you
that.
this.
For cosplay, it's just how most people in Asia decide to like. It's just a word that we define ourselves.
Okay, so it's the same thing as dressing up for a costume.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's nothing weird about it. It's weird because your brains reinforce older stereotype, and because it's
I think so. I don't think it's weird to dress up. I think it's weird if you internalize it, right? If you're dressing up, constantly internalizing, this is like a second secret identity I have, and that's weird. And I think that's something I have observed in a lot of the anime community. Frankly,
you cannot say that. I disagree, because that's take a very minority and just kind of sum it up.
Okay, and that's weird. That's weird, right? It's weird if you're dressing up as something and thinking that like internalizing the identity of what you're
Because
dressing
out of
up
your
as.
social norm, your brain,
It's not
things
my
like
fault.
that's
I
very
was
narrow-minded,
also
especially
born
in
as
America.
Iron
There's
Man.
so many different culture out there.
Yeah.
It's just a way for us to express ourselves. And
All right, that's 10.
I could
Please
never be a
walk
fan
off.
of someone who cosplays. Oh no.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, him saying, oh, there's people out there that think they actually are that character. Yeah, sure, there are, but that's not all of us. That's not everybody. Sure, maybe there's some people who think that they are that character. Okay? That's like the extremists. Nobody likes the extremists in any of the groups. So that's like, that's... Huh?
Hello, my name's Athena.
But connect with some aspects of the character that
Nice
makes
to
me
meet
feel
you.
cool. Yeah.
So before I continue, I would
Oh,
just
she's
like
got
you
cool
to
hair.
reiterate
What?
your
That's so
point
dark!
directly to me.
Yeah, so the point I made last is that cosplay, if you want to do it and it's the way you want to enjoy yourself, that's fine, but it's weird.
Some people
especially if
cosplay
you're
on Twitch
internalizing
now,
the
that's
identity
weird.
that you are dressing up as when you're cosplaying.
So
Wait, what did he say? I was
Fine,
sorry.
but it's weird, especially if you're internalizing the identity that you are dressing up as when you're cosplaying.
So I understand where you're coming from, but you do have to acknowledge not all cosplayers do that.
Mhm.
Personally, when I cosplay, I don't view myself as that character. I view myself.
One could say he's trying to internalize dressing up in a suit and tie by thinking he's professional. Are you not internalizing that you're being a professional person because you put on a suit and tie? Aren't you just dressing up as a character? Do you wear a suit and tie every day? No, so technically you're just dressing up as a character too. It's not my fault that mine has 9 tails and sparkles. Your costume's just a little bit different than mine is.
As expressing my appreciation and love for this character. And the basis of that is outside of a hobby. It is to connect with others. And then cosplay in itself is a very popular hobby. And again, self-expression is very important.
No,
so
I'm not.
aside, when other people indulge in their hobbies,
Part of
do you
cosplay
find
is
their
acting,
hobbies
becoming the
weird?
character's dedication to the craft.
It depends on the hobby. I think my point is that if you want to dress up as something,
I mean, and with his argument, then that would be like any actor in Hollywood that goes to play their role is weird because they're dressing up and acting as a character. So technically, this guy shouldn't like Marvel, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I mean, any popular, any movie or anything he shouldn't like because they dressed up and internalized their character. Because that's what acting is. I have a confession. My secret identity is Kim Possible. I dressed up as her last name. Do you still have your bike with a Cyberpunk wrap? Yes, I do. I do. That is my bike. It's a Ninja 400.
that's fine. But if you're going around dressing up like a dog and barking like a dog, that's weird. And I don't think that's normal. Again, I still fully support their right to bark like a dog if they want to. Go ahead and do it. But that's weird. And again, we'll extrapolate overall in the anime community as you
Is that
have people that are
cosplayers?
in character.
Or is
and-
that a certain small part of furries? Because now you're in a different category. Now you're into the furry category. Okay? And not all furries dress up and bark. Some of them just want to dress up like cosplayers. Some of them just enjoy just dressing up, going, and then going home, taking it off, and going on with their day. So yes, there is a small part of them that do that. But like, that's also just, yeah, that's just also generalizing that community. Because I know a lot of furry people that are like, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't barking. That's a little much for us.
Sort of taking on the identity and role and acting out their character often for extended periods of time, right? I think that's weird, right? Because then you're
How much you want to bet this guy doesn't think it's weird for people to sit around a TV and yell at a screen when football's on? Because one could say that's just as weird as dressing up as a character and pretending to be that character. So is it so you're allowed to sit around a TV and yell at a screen of people in tights throwing a ball around, and you can yell and threaten and smash things, but when I dress up as Jinx, I'm the villain.
On yourself and your life.
That's
as a
why you
person,
get
an
yourself a
actual
dad
person,
who
and that's
watches
weird.
football streams at TV
So
and will dress
before
up
I
with you.
continue to my next point, I do want to acknowledge, yes, while that is a thing,
What did my dad last
there
cosplay
is
as?
a generalization. You are blurring
Con
the
is Doom.
lines between
Doom.
cosplay and identifying as something. And when you cosplay, you don't inherently identify.
Next time I'm
So
bored,
creating
I'll
that generalization is unfair to the cosplay community as a whole. And again, on top of that, it is a hobby. It is something people make careers out of. It is
Yeah.
a form of self-expression.
Yup.
And that's a normal way to make a career?
What's
I mean,
a normal
are
way to make a
freelances
career?
artists normal careers?
No, and then you could say that's weird though, too. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just weird. It's not normal. Isn't that what weird is? Something that's not normal?
But it's only not normal because you have that prejudice in your mind. If you look past
Block 'em!
what you already view as weird.
Block 'em! Why are we voting her out? Keep cooking him.
Good job.
Next person, if you would like to debate this, please walk to the table in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, my parents did not grow up in a time of social media. They did not grow up in any of this stuff, okay? My dad showed me what cosplaying was because cosplay's been a thing. They just didn't call it cosplay. They called it dressing up, okay? We call it a different thing. It's the same thing. Dressing up, cosplay, whatever you want to call it. My dad got me in to go. He literally, as kids, would say, y'all should dress up. I dressed up as Iron Man to go see when Iron Man came out. I dressed up as Rocket when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. He would buy us the costumes, say we should all dress up as a family to go to the movies to go see this. Because that's what they did growing up. It was just dressing up. It's just a way to have fun. Let's have fun without looking at our screens for 5 seconds. Let's just have fun. Let's go do something fun. But on top of that, they didn't grow up with social media. So when I went to my parents and said, hey, I want to do this thing called Twitch streaming, they didn't go, oh, you're weird. That's not normal. No, you know what they said? All right, let's look into it. Is this a way that you could, you could make a living for yourself? Is this a way that you could survive on your own? Okay, let's get you a backup plan. You need to go to college. I went to college so that you have something to fall back on. But they didn't go, oh, that's weird. That's not normal. You're not doing that. They said, oh, it's a way to make money. You enjoy doing it. Send it, brother. Holy close-minded.
Ooh.
It's
welcome
nice,
back.
nice
Yeah.
to see you again. So this is, okay, I have a lot to say on this one.
Okay.
I'm a cosplayer, not currently, but I do this professionally. This is my job. I make a living off of this, so
Yeah.
I have a lot to just expose
Okay.
your brain to.
I wonder
Okay,
what
expose
she's
me.
cosplayed
So
as.
you
What do you
are
think she's cosplayed?
definitely adding on to what Athena was saying, blurring a line between
obviously
cosplayers
she's done that
and
anime. She loves that anime, it
very
seems.
small minority of the community who get like a very overly emotional attachment and start to identify
See,
as
just in cosplay, I'm 98% sure this dude is rage baiting. Like, I hate rage baiting so much. I'm 98% sure he is. But there's 2% of me that he might actually hate all of this. He apparently is an anime hater. He thinks cosplaying is weird. He thinks it should... He didn't say it shouldn't be a thing. He said, I respect their right to do it. But it's weird. But, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's rage baiting.
certain character.
And it's
but
working.
Let me ask you, have you
I'm
ever
kidding.
been to Disneyland?
Of course.
Okay. Have you
Oh.
seen the character actors at Disneyland?
She's about to
Yeah, those
clock
are
him right here.
cosplayers.
Exactly. They're cosplayers, but they're specifically in character as
About
those
to clock 'em
people,
right here.
and they're getting paid to
But
do
what,
that.
what would
but,
you call the people then who...
But cosplayers are not necessarily the people who work at Disneyland. So not all cosplayers are going to be emulating that character that they're cosplaying.
what would,
In
so
fact,
what would you call those people then who are emulating their character?
character actors, and that is not a character actor is not a
That's
cosplayer.
even weirder. Damn, okay.
But that's a profession, and people make a lot of money doing that.
they're
but
actors.
cosplay is very different, and while cosplayers can cosplay,
They're
like Disney
actors.
characters or Marvel characters or comic book characters or anime characters, you have to think about how it is also an
I'm a cosplay
industry,
Kirby.
and it really is an industry in itself. Like people are selling, their
3
services.
million people
Cosplay is
globally
one
have
of
a
the
career based on
only
cosplay.
hobbies I feel that
Holy.
encapsulates hundreds of different skills and professions
Good
and
for them.
so many different things that take to make it, and saying that that is weird is like saying that all of these other
Yeah, they go to
umbrellas
hospitals and
underneath
stuff.
it
Yeah,
are
they make
also
kids very
weird. In fact, it's
happy.
actually very impressive to be able to combine so many different skills and efforts and careers and fields
It's hard.
into one single
Brother, go try to make a cosplay. It ain't easy. I tried. It ain't easy. My sword don't look too good. I'm not gonna lie. It's not as easy as it looks.
singular thing, and I feel like
And I've
there's
been doing it
not
for years.
many things in terms of hobbies that do that, but that's not inherently weird. I feel like that is actually very impressive to the normal person.
Can't something be both weird and impressive though?
I feel it. I mean, but
like,
that
isn't
just,
it weird? Like when you
but
have a kid.
that's
Like I have a
comes down
friend,
to
for
personal
example,
bias.
and he can multiply like 2-3 digit numbers like in his head within like 10 seconds.
that's
That's
fucking
weird.
smart.
It's also really impressive.
It's very
right?
impressive.
But like it's a little
It's
weird.
smart.
Like what's going on in your head?
But I also feel like that. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's definitely a statement. I feel like your perspective so far has been inherently negative weird, but here you
Yeah.
are also acknowledging that things can be impressive but weird to you.
No, look,
and
I
feel
love-
like
I
I feel like
love
he's
that
saying
people
weird in
that
like a
get
bad
into
way.
down
what
to
they
your
care about.
personal bias, and you are starting to think less of a whole
Exactly.
objectively and more debating on your personal bias.
That's not true, okay? I think that I've made it very clear during this discussion that I think people can have fun and they should have fun being cosplayers. I have nothing against people doing that and expressing themselves.
What's the dude
I
in
just think
the
it's
back
weird,
doing?
and that's why I don't do it. I mean, you could argue that me wearing a suit to this debate is a little weird, but here we are.
It fits the
So,
bill. It's
yeah,
fun.
isn't that cosplaying though a little bit? So aren't I technically cosplaying right now? But aren't I a little weird for showing up
See-
to debate 20 people about anime
No.
in a suit?
And
Like that makes me weird.
I even have another point. So, fun fact, and this is kind of a fun fact.
Yeah.
So the word you talked earlier about like Halloween, and
Yeah.
that's a very good point to bring up because cosplay can be Halloween. You're dressing up as a character, your kids dress up, your family dresses up,
Yeah.
and so that's a very normalized occasion in the West for people who maybe are into whatever they like. If they're really into Marvel or if they're really into that, that's not weird.
That's normal, but I guess the point is when people use the word cosplay in media, they're not talking about Halloween. They're not even really talking about someone at like a fair that's like.
I
dressing
wonder how
up.
many-
glad
who-
that you
who
mentioned
They're talking
Halloween
about
this
a
year.
motorcycle
No,
made guy.
I'm so glad that you mentioned the word cosplay because that's another
what costumes
fun
are gonna see this year for
fact.
Halloween,
So
like the most
a very
popular
long
one.
time ago, I believe sometime around the 50s or 60s, and somebody
Probably
fact checked me
Wednesday.
on that. But some kind of convention gathering, I can't remember exactly what it was happening over here in the United States, and a reporter from Japan came to scope it out, check it out, and brought, saw what we were doing here, dressing up as characters from comics and series that we like, and brought that back and wrote an article, and thus the word cosplay was formed by creating, combining costume and play. And when you translate that into, to make it fit into the Japanese language, it comes out as cosplay. And cosplay is that. So it didn't the word itself is literally just describing people dressing up, and that could have
Ooh,
been
K-pop dancers,
Halloween,
yeah.
that could have
And
been
that's
everything.
fine.
The word itself is the
And that's
same.
fine. And I guess my point is, I have nothing against people dressing up, but the way cosplay is used in our media often describes more than that, right? It often describes, and obviously it
In
seems
which
like you
media
have a lot.
specifically?
I'm talking about Western media.
Western
Online
media?
people on the internet here in the United States, right?
Okay, and that's from
hold
your
on, let me-
experience
let me-
from not being in the community to see the full depth.
To be
absolutely.
honest, I can't tell you the last time I saw a person that cosplayed and thought anything other than I'm dressing up as this character. I'm completely honest. I have not seen someone being like, I am this person. Like, I haven't in a long time. I mean, going to cons, online, like...
I recognize that, but I think my point is if we're having a good faith debate about the word, then the way people understand the word as a whole matters, right? Even if it's necessarily not the definition.
Okay.
That's how language works. It matters. And
Okay.
my take
cosplaying is just
Could
costumes.
you also argue that do you feel like what type of cosplay are you
Most
talking about? Are you
people-
talking
most
about
strangers
people
would
who
say it's dressing up,
craft,
right?
people who dress up for Halloween, like if cosplay
No,
is
I'm talking
such
about
a
if we're
whole-
talking about like what's objectively weird, we're talking about people
Yeah,
who
what is
go out in
objectively
public
weird to you?
and internalize their characters and pretend they're someone they're not. Again, I totally have the right to do that, but I'm saying people, if that's not cosplay,
Have
then
you
that's
experienced
fine.
those people in person? Have you
Yes.
talked to somebody who is genuinely believing that they are that character?
Yes.
And what are the
Bro
odds
saw
that you think
TikTok girls twerking in a cosplay and thought, oh, cosplay all weird.
you would meet somebody like that if you were to go
I have
into
never
a
met
designated
someone like
space
that,
for
even at a
cosplayers,
con.
con-goers, anime lovers? What do you think is the probability that you would
Even
I'm
at a
sure
con, they
it's
break
spectrum, and
character.
there's probably most people like
you-
motorcycle
do you
made who are
have a
pretty chill,
probability of
actually.
that, though?
But do I what?
It's like
You're asking me, do I have a
it's
problem?
a probability of it.
oh.
Like it's probably 1 in 500 at least.
Yeah, sure. And then 1 in 500 people are weird, and that's fine.
But when you
Ooh. So you're gonna generalize this?
I would love it.
all of cosplay? Oh, she is upset.
Next
She got
topic
rage
is
baited hard.
live action will always be better than animation.
Please go up in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, brother, have you seen Arcane? Arcane is
Welcome.
pink.
Hi,
Hi, Max.
Michelle.
Nice to meet you.
So please describe why do you think?
Please go watch Lilo and Stitch and then come back and watch Arcane and tell me which one is better. The live action Lilo and Stitch, mind you. Honestly, no. Just go watch live action Lilo and Stitch and go watch animation Lilo and Stitch and tell me which one was better. Because let me tell you, from what we saw, that live action was dokey. Bro, that looked dokey.
Live action's better than anime.
I think it's not a matter of the art itself. I think something can be great in both categories. My argument is more so if you look at the most
I actually haven't seen
impactful
any
pieces of
Lion
media that have been created, especially in film. Some of the greatest movies of all time, they're all live action. You don't see animes mentioned in terms of the most culturally impactful pieces of art that are motion picture, correct?
Correct. So when you say culturally, it does depend on the culture.
Right.
And compared from the US to Asia, it's definitely a huge dynamic of how anime is portrayed and seen.
Yeah.
And for the value that people hold when it comes to action in real life films compared to anime, it does capture like different aspects, but to predominantly say one is better than the other, it does depend on what is in the script, what's depicted throughout the animation, or the way that the camera captures live action.
Do you think anime is better than live action?
Sometimes. It's on playing grounds in the description of arts, because the arts covers a huge variety of media portrayal and just how one is able to express like creativity, whether it's through actual face expressions or like
Brother, please go
visual
watch
scenes,
She-Hulk and
or
tell me
rather
that anime
the
is not better
dynamic
than
that
She-Hulk.
animation can create a whole fantasy, not necessarily to cater to a specific to
I
cater
wanna
to a
give the
specific
cosplayer
culture,
the guy a
but
hug.
essentially to bring to life what the text, the script is actually meaning, in terms of being able to add color, being able to bring.
So sorry, your argument is that anime can bring to life more aspects of what's animation than live action, therefore it's better.
With more creative freedom, because there's CGI in live action film, but that does come with a huge budget. When it comes to Marvels, they have a huge budget to be able to disperse all of that. But when it comes to animation, it doesn't matter how much budget one can, but they're able to utilize it through the arts, through the depiction, and their efforts in order to create a whole scene that's able to
Yeah, I agree.
encapsulate
Anime tells a better
a whole
story. Live action gives
script.
more realistic.
That's a great
plot.
argument, and I think the democratization of creativity that animation can bring across the film space compared to getting a high-budget Hollywood film is a
I mean,
great
just go
thing,
watch
right?
the
But
Spider-Man Into the
objectively,
Universe
let's
series.
say we're watching with a film with a big spaceship
cinema.
like exploding or something like that. Isn't it way cooler to see it happen in live action than anime?
But isn't that just a utilization of CGI essentially?
I'm sure, but it's cooler.
It is cooler, but it's also dependent on which culture you're predominantly invested in.
Sure, but that's a great point about the cultures, and it's important to remember that anime and animation cultures are very small.
Yeah, the two aliens
right?
were humans. Yeah.
And while they are confined to their nations, and Western media is confined to the United States,
CGI
Western
is a
media
form of animation too. Those movies are 90% CGI. That's what I was thinking. Is like, okay, well, live action is also utilizing animation. But I was gonna let him have his argument.
United States film, particularly stuff produced here in California, have impacted the entire world in maybe a way anime hasn't.
10 flags. You can vote it out.
And I'm okay.
Let's talk.
Okay.
3, 2.
Brother, please just look at what the popular aesthetic for fashion is right now, and then go watch an anime and go, oh my word, they all just want to look like anime characters, because it's true. I would say that's affecting the world.
1.
I testify.
I think Johnny got it.
I was low-key cheating, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, welcome back, Johnny.
Max, bro, I'm back. It's good to see you, bro. All right, I
Thank you,
think
Mr. Avatar,
obviously
yeah.
everything's subjective, but I think anime is better than live action.
Okay,
That's
thank
weird.
you.
Why? Really? Is it weird?
Yeah.
Dude, that's not cool, bro. Why would we just resort to insults? Why don't we just be a little bit nice, huh?
All right, bro. No, wait. Let him go. This is gonna be fun.
Okay, I'll be serious. All right, pretend that didn't happen, guys. All right, I think anime in general, objectively, could have a more creative, just everything than live action. Yes or no?
Yeah, no, that's what she said, and
Really?
I think I actually agree with that point.
Okay, then I think it's better.
I don't think that makes it better. I think it makes it more creative potentially.
Then let me see. I actually want to hear. Why do you think live action is better than anime, just in general, or animation?
I think seeing, and obviously this is subjective, but I
Okay.
think there's a value in seeing
I
someone
think
who
anime is
looks
evil,
exactly
actually.
like you and
Anyone that likes
experiences
One
life
Piece
in the
hates
same ways
everyone.
physically than you, when you're understanding a story and the way the story is told, makes it easier to relate to the person.
Okay.
And on top of that, again, as I've said earlier, every single piece of media in film that has been the most impactful is live action. You
Okay.
can't say that about anime. Look, anime has played a great role in its community, but you rarely hear talks of Attack on Titan or One Piece having great impacts on the community as a whole.
Attack on Titan changed my life. I am not the same person that I was when I started Attack on Titan. Little me saw them naked humans running and was terrified but intrigued. And I faced my fears and I watched Attack on Titan. And I will never be the same. I will never be the same that I was when I started Attack on Titan. Don't you say it hasn't impacted me. That's how I knew I was straight. Have you seen Levi? But it's okay. We can't sexualize men, so it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, man. Okay.
Maybe in your little like anime reporter blog, you might hear that, but it's not coming in the New York Times.
Funny. Okay, I'm not even gonna talk about that. Okay, why do people go to amusement parks most of the time? So my main argument is escapism, right? People will watch things for that general aspect of life. I think live action. Sorry, I'm talking.
Yeah, I think
buddy.
it's random.
Live action in general isn't
some
as much
live actions that are better,
escapism as
some
anime
anime
will
that's
ever be
better.
because they have more of a creative thing where they could literally make anything happen more than live action. As you said, and let's say Flow, for example, won Best Animation. How much did that cost to make? Probably about $100,000. And he was able to make that whole creative thing with animation. And he wouldn't have ever been able to make a cat walking around the earth after a whole natural disaster in live action. It's not possible. And that's why I see the value in animation as more valuable.
I've never seen that. Is
Obviously,
that
live
good?
action is great.
Great film.
Yeah, great film.
We
You
saw
watched
that
it?
in the
Really?
thing.
So you agree with me, huh?
$4 million?
Huh? Okay, what's Avengers Endgame?
No.
What's Avengers Endgame?
Avengers Endgame is like 100.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And okay, continuing, I think just in
Babe,
general,
we just put
animation,
the cat
you can
in
make
my room.
super
Where's
cool
Venom? I'll film
stories
it.
with that low budget. And I think that's the coolest thing. I think, let's say, Demon Slayer, for example, although people don't think it's the greatest thing, it had amazing animation and fight scenes that got people more hyped than some of these Avengers movies that cost like $1 billion.
Did they?
Yes,
I don't know about that.
People me out, bro. I got people down. Hey.
Besides Thunderbolt and they're getting better, but recent Marvel has sucked. Yes, they were better. Recent Marvel has been dookie cheeks. Yes. What do you mean? He's tripping.
Hey, I was cooking. All right. Yeah, good.
Please, I want to hear the motorcycle dude.
Welcome back, scum.
He
So
has
your
aura, I
argument
can
is
feel
that live action
My
is
argument
better.
is that it's both more impactful and it's cooler.
It's cooler.
Yeah.
In what way? I want to know why before I get into it.
I would rather look at a real life person than an animated person.
He is wearing a maid
As
outfit.
I said earlier, I would rather see a fight scene in real life than in anime.
So you'd rather look at
I wanna
watch a
see
movie.
the
You'd rather
bloody cheeks
You'd
on a
rather watch
person.
a.
So you'd rather see a man fight another man in real life? Huh. You like boys.
You'd rather watch Pedro. You'd rather watch Pedro Pascal in the same movie role 10 times over than seeing something with complete originality,
You like
with
boys.
limitless budget and creativity.
I think there is a
There is so much more to animation than meets the eye. The themes. I'm just gonna say.
I will say the recent
themes-
Karate Kid. I would rather watch an anime fight scene over the Karate Kid fighting scenes. 100%.
are way more clear in anime.
Bro, we're having a good conversation.
The themes in anime are way more clear. Just look at Attack on Titan, One Piece. Just let me have one more point. We also have to go beyond just live action, like you prefer it. Just look at Hollywood. Maybe 30 years ago I'd agree with you, right? But right now, it's just recycled sequels and movies
that's a big
regulated
problem. I
and
agree with
franchise.
that.
But then when you go to anime, let's say you don't like something, right? Let's say something doesn't resonate with you. You can just go on to the next. And that has just as much creativity and originality and passion, right? Because, listen, with a Hollywood movie, people will go see a Leonardo DiCaprio movie despite it being bad or good, just because his face is on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
But with anime, you don't get to see that face. You don't get to see who's behind the voice.
Well, okay, so Gianni got voted out, and then he won 5 more minutes? No, here, wait, finish your point.
I'm just saying, the people behind anime try harder to create something that resonates with a person because of the limitations they have, because it's behind animation. And that's why I say animation is better. Just look at Avatar: Last Airbender. That is not anime, but it's animation. Just look at Attack on Titan.
Ethan.
It was constructed in a certain way to encapsulate viewers because you don't know anything about these characters. But with live action movies, you recognize an actor.
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm not even gonna lie. Look, I'm not even gonna lie. He cooked with that. Because look at the biggest problem in Hollywood over the past few years has been the ample amount of remakes and sequels and adaptations.
I'm back on track.
And you're right. That's happening because they know they can make money off that. And anime, that's right. People have the budget for that creative freedom. And that's a fair point. I still think I would rather watch a live action movie, but that's a really great point about the creative freedom it gives. So, hell yeah.
All right, thank you.
I got voted out, but I just needed to say my piece, all right? Screw you.
All right, but thank you.
Please, Motorcycle Man, I want to hear what he has to say. He's not doing that. He's gonna wait.
Hello again.
Welcome back.
So I just want to clarify before I start. Your argument is live action will always be better than animation as a whole, correct?
I'm arguing that it looks cooler and it is more impactful.
All right, so with that in mind, I'm not going to give you my opinion. I'm going to
I
give
want
you a
some
fact
brownies.
here.
Oh,
are you familiar with
brownies sound so
Hamlet
good.
at all?
Right.
The Shakespeare story?
play, yes.
Well, if you look commercially, if you look at critic scores, the best version of Hamlet that has been put on film is Lion King. And that's not my opinion. That's based on
Theater Girl Storm,
the
is this
gross
true?
domestic
Is this
money
true?
earned.
Maybe
it's
Ludo's
earned
AI.
by
Why
the
am I AI?
amount of reviews. So in that case, that's not even me arguing the opinion.
Is that true, Storm?
I don't have
Storm's
to.
our theater girl. Is that
People
true?
have already done it. You see, the thing about animation is you're able to capture certain stories in a way that allows for an expressive way that doesn't, how do I put this?
And it's funny you use Lion King as the example as a story that made more impact as anime, because I would actually disagree that Lion King has had a much greater impact as a Broadway show than it has as a film even, where it keeps getting seen more and more. And that is arguably a live action version of an animated film that people continue to experience.
If you're gonna
so is
argue
it
to
really
me-
just all anime that is the reason Lion King has been so impactful, or
If
is
you're
it live
arguing
action
to me
and anime?
that the Broadway musical of Lion King has been seen more than the film, I can go pull up the stat. I know that's not true. And I was a theater kid. I loved the Lion King Broadway show. However, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's gotten more views, it's gotten a better critical reception, because at the end of the day, it didn't. The
My
original
point is
one-
more, though, in your one example of anime being incredibly impactful, it still has played a role, live action and both.
Alright.
And people love still seeing that great story. It was such a great anime story, right, that people had to see it in person.
So let
to
me
make
give you a
it better.
second example then, because you're saying I'm going off of one. How about this? There has not been a Spider-Man film that has been more commercially successful than Into the Spider-Verse. That has been better received by critics than Into the Spider-Verse. Okay. Both of which was done because, unfortunately, a human being cannot swing around like Spider-Man like an animation.
That's fine. They animated Lord of the Rings in the 20th century, right? No one watches that because they made live action versions of that are the most epic movie trilogy ever.
We're only talking about the studio with the budget of a ham sandwich who made it. We're not talking about someone like Sony, someone like Disney, who, if they were to get the rights to do it, I'm sure would be better. Let's also look, talking about Lord of the Rings, the most recent Amazon series, which was
He
live
just
action,
completely
didn't
ignored
do
what he
very
said,
good
but okay.
commercially. Are you going to say that because of that, that one I think might arguably be actually lower reviewed than the original animation? So now we're back to the animation did better than the live action version.
Well, no. With the trilogy is obviously the most successful, whether it's The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings.
Can you think of another one that started as a
Ignore him 'cause he got
animation
clocked,
that did better in
literally.
live action? Because we can go to Disney. Let's see. Snow White did better as the animation.
Clock 'em.
Aladdin did better as the animation.
Clock 'em.
Beauty and the Beast did better as the animation.
Clock 'em.
So we're seeing time and time again that when a story is starting as an animation, it's getting converted over to live action. It's clearly not doing as good. You can say you like the film. You can say, oh, I personally thought it was better. But at the end of the day, if we're using facts and facts alone, the critics are saying that that is objectively better based on average reviews. And if we're going off of real income, those movies, the animations have made more than the live
That's
action
fine, but
versions.
if you go and look up the top 100 shows or top 100 movies of all time, you're probably not seeing much anime on there. And I think that's important to consider when we're talking about the impact of these shows versus anime versus not in the broad scheme of things.
Did you hear anything that just came out of his mouth?
Again,
Oh, no,
sorry,
he doesn't have his listening ears on. He doesn't have his,
Our
he
last
doesn't have his
topic
listening ears
is
on.
anime will never be mainstream.
3, 2, 1.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry? I went to the mall tonight. Let me tell you, a nightmare and a half in itself. That's why I don't go out. Every store I walked into, there was anime stuff. Every single store. Now I went to Hot Topic, which is valid, you're going to see anime stuff, and Box Lunch, which also could be valid, you're going to see anime stuff. But I also went to some other stores, and they had One Piece stuff. It's very much so mainstream. Because, brother, let me tell you, when people find out something makes money, oh, their greed slurps it up, brother. They go, bro, the greed is sickening. So when they find something that's going to make them money, oh, it's going. So it's mainstream because it's making them money. So, yes, it's mainstream. Whether it's because people love anime, which they do, or it's because it's making money, which it is, you combine that together, it's a recipe for mainstream. It's done did it. We got Pikachu Balloon at the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, but also Goku and Luffy, literally. He's rage baiting and it's working. This is the most successful rage bait on me personally I have seen. Like, I'm not upset, but it's actually like, oh my word, are you actually this stupid or are you acting? It's not mainstream unless I say it.
Welcome back. Good to be with you again. Good. Why do you think anime will never be mainstream, even though I kind of think it already is?
Anime will never be mainstream. Again, let's go back to what we were talking
Yeah, is
about.
Pokemon not
We talked about
mainstream?
some of our most famous shows and most impactful pieces of cinema and film and television. Not necessarily anime. At least they're far in the minority, right? That's
because we're popular
Two,
in Canada.
I think it goes back to a lot of the rest of our conversation we've had, that the anime community, while it is big and expansive, it's isolated. And because of that, I would argue that it can't be a
Yeah, we're
mainstream
isolated because
topic.
we don't like going outside.
I can go in reverse and say that although you may think it's isolated, it's kind of expanding ever so slightly, and in many ways even. Now, conventions, of course, being hosted here and there are many more niche events other than just conventions being hosted now in different areas, such as like nightclubs and stuff. They kind of have like nights dedicated to like anime and cosplay, or again, more kind of...
The people who are not part of the community attend these events, though. No,
I feel like
right?
it's mutuals. I feel like, possibly yes, because what would happen is a lot of fans will go and be like, oh, I got a friend, we'll bring them along, and they may as well just put them on that.
Let's put it
in
this
the
way.
sense of,
I got a lot of friends here who enjoy anime. I don't think I've ever been invited to go to a...
Because you're a hater!
So, are you fun at parties?
Alright, you got me.
But I got y'all. There we go. But
Because you're
I will
probably
say that
annoying.
it is.
I'm wearing a suit to debate people about anime. Do you think I'm fun at parties?
No.
Also got a little fun shirt on the bottom. What you got underneath?
All right, we're gonna yeah.
There's nothing
You can play that game, dog.
But I will say though, it is plenty mainstream enough. I mean, let's start big. Let's go with the Vegas Sphere. As of recently actually, there's been a lot of footage that they've been promoting a One Piece on that insanely. I mean, like I think every few hours in the day they'll play a promo featuring a different character each time, and I think it was like 90-something scenes at once at the same time, kind of spiraling around it. I mean, that's the Vegas Sphere. That's already a big thing enough. And if that's not enough for you, Irvine Spectrum recently had a collab with Gundam, and they kind of had this whole like timeline Gundam-verse. And I'd gone there myself about 2 times. Dude, it was packed all the time. People kind of lining up for the event. people buying at early
That's what I'm saying,
access,
Pokemon's
flying
literally
in from
already
different
mainstream,
states,
brother.
and that was all also coming alongside the movie that had come out recently for the new Gundam movie, basically. And on the topic of movies as well, some anime movies have been nominated for Oscars. I'm not sure if they won or not, but being nominated for an Oscar is grand enough. I mean, that's a huge opportunity to win.
What's the cat movie called again? Flow. Yeah, that was nominated for.
That won.
Right?
It won.
That won.
It won. Wow, there you go. You see.
There you go.
You just proved my point.
And that happens, but few and far
It's
between,
historical,
right?
it's like
And
literally.
look, I would love for anime to be able to have more wind in the creative space, but it just doesn't, right? You're talking.
My brother in Christ, my whole career had a boost because I put anime on my motorcycle. Brother, Cyberpunk Edge Runners and Jinx literally were the win to my career. What do you mean? The space loves it. I don't think they could love it anymore. We get any more nerdy, and we're never gonna leave our houses. I mean, I don't already, but at least there's still nerds that leave their houses. What are you talking about?
Talking about these events that probably a lot of people attend and are happening, but where are they being talked about? Where are they being covered? The point is, right, someone who's like me isn't seeing this on the main front page of the New York Times. I'm not seeing it in mainstream.
Oh my word, he's living in makeup world. He's living in a made up world. He's living in a made up world. He lives in a made up world where anime doesn't exist. I see our issue. Oh my word, we need to save him. He is lost in a different dimension where anime doesn't exist. Oh my word, we need to save him. I see the issue. I see the issue. It's not that he doesn't like it. It doesn't exist in the world that he lives in. We need to save him, chat. He needs our help. In his universe, it doesn't exist. Oh my word, he needs our help. Oh my word. He needs our help. It's okay. We will save you. I see the issue. I see the issue. We've been wrong all along. It's not that he doesn't like it. It's that he doesn't know it exists. It's okay. We'll help you. We'll help you.
Seriously, screaming
Welcome in, soldier.
It's out there, but it's
What
not.
about the
It's not
Macy's
shown.
crew?
He's Concord.
Okay, bet. That's all good. Thank you.
You did great.
Thank you guys.
We're talking about
3, 2,
anime hater
1.
versus 20 anime lover.
Okay, this time I'll actually shake your hand.
You wanna shake my-
No, I will
you
shake
be
your
nice
hand this time because I think you did. You made some points, right?
Some
but
points.
I
If
think
Motorcycle Dude doesn't
anime
talk-
is already mainstream because of one reason, right? What is the go-to streaming platform to like watch your shows? Like one of them.
Netflix.
Yeah, perfect. Netflix.
Someone
And
has
guess
to
what
be
was
good
the
for
third
society.
most
Maybe
watched
it's
show
good. Someone
of
doesn't
the
know it.
entire year in 2023? I'm saying 2023 as the main example.
Sure. What was it?
One Piece, and it had 500 million views. The live action one. Okay, but everyone knows the live action. But right, how is that not mainstream enough if it's the third most watched show of the entire year?
One Piece is a mainstream piece of media. I'm not going to
And
disagree with you on
anime.
that.
What is One Piece? It's anime.
It's an anime, right? But it doesn't mean that.
Brother,
Brother?
it's mainstream.
Let's use our listening ears.
Okay, I'll do another point. Okay, look, every single time. Are you guys done? Wait, give me 1 second.
The problem is. Hey. This is the problem with the anime community right here.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go.
You didn't even let me finish. You went off stage. That's crazy. You didn't even want to hear it.
All right, next person up.
That's why you don't get invited to parties, brother.
So I'm gonna bring up the point that
Bring up Motorcycle Dude is what I want you to bring up.
anime is actually already mainstream. And so to go off Aiden's point, he uses Netflix, right? It's not actually just Netflix. It's Hulu, it's Disney Plus. It's almost every big streaming company right now is fighting for the rights to get anime on board. Right? So you saying that it'll never be mainstream, it's made huge movement to becoming mainstream.
Because
And
they
I
got
would argue that
money
it's
from it,
still
so it's mainstream.
actually
Because
is
they said, ooh,
mainstream
money?
right now. I could also bring up the point that you have major, you said you don't see like anime on a day-to-day basis, but you have major companies right now that will do collaborations
Yup.
to promote their brands
Yup.
using animation or anime. For example, the Lakers, right? The Lakers did a collab with One Piece. I would say
Yup.
that that's like
They had One
a
Piece
pretty
night where everyone
standard,
came in cosplays.
like everybody knows the
Keep it
Lakers.
on rolling.
You have big companies like
I'm not even an
Nike,
anime watcher. I'm just mad because it has
Vans,
facts right through.
many more. Designer brands, I'm pretty sure, have done anime collaborations. I would argue
Yup.
that in itself is
Yup.
mainstream.
Yup.
That is mainstream, and that's the best argument I've heard so far.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, but you got mad and left. So you lost. Anyway, problem is, you guys can have as much attention and,
Yeah, I think McDonald's did do
and
anime
be the
meals, yeah.
mainstream as you want, but you're still a weird, isolated
You're
community.
still weird. I knew he was gonna say it, but you're still weird, so it doesn't matter. Well, you may be mainstream, but you're still weird. You're weird. This whole conversation didn't add anything. That's why. Okay, I literally clicked on this because I was like, okay, maybe this will be a better Jubilee because Jubilee has just become rage bait. So I'm like, I'm not watching Jubilee. It's just rage bait. It's just full on rage bait. So I was like, okay, maybe this will be different, and it wasn't.
You're all still in your anime bubble. You're all
But
still
you're
just there.
weird.
Right? You're all still jerking each other off and whatever.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and then I think McDonald's is doing a
obscenities.
And because of the way the community is perceived outside of the community, it's just.
Did you just fart?
It's difficult
Who
for someone like
farted?
me to be like, oh yeah, those.
One of you three dogs just came in here and just absolutely let it rip. Which one of you did it? Because my goodness, you just ripped your buns. Holy, that's what they did, brother. That's what they did.
People have a lot of influence over culture.
Okay.
Because I would say they don't.
Yeah. So,
K-pop Demon Hunters,
you
that
brought
would
up
be
some
good.
pretty extreme points there. What I will say to those points, those are the very extreme. But just because something is perceived to be weird to you doesn't mean that
It's not about it being perceived weird to me. It's about how those perceptions, which are widespread and matter, affect the way everyone else engages with it, right? I wish it was more like that.
Please, motorcycle dude, I just want to hear from you. I just want to hear from you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Disclaimer, I actually don't hate anime. I just don't watch it. But thank you, everyone, for coming. It was a great debate.
Motorcycle man? Motorcycle man? When they rushed to the table for the first question, I thought they were trying to jump him right then and there. Instead of having this argument, he could have watched AOT.